Welcome to GTC's Teaching Tidbits Blackboard Ultra. In this limited series, each episode we will explore a technique, tip, practice, or idea to expand your knowledge of and comfort with using Blackboard Ultra. Today, we have joining us from the Curriculum and Instructional Support Center, the Director of Online Learning, Shannon Creighton. Welcome, Shannon.
Hey, thanks, Rachel. Appreciate it.
So glad to have you on here to help us as we navigate the transition to Blackboard Ultra. And in this episode, Shannon is going to explain a little bit more behind the shift to Blackboard Ultra. So Shannon, I'm going to turn it over to you to share your teaching tidbit.
Sure, perfect. Thanks, Rachel. And I appreciate you doing this series. I think it'll be very helpful for us and for our faculty. So as the kickoff episode, what I wanted to do was to talk a little bit about why we were making the shift to Ultra and what I perceive and what our team perceives as being the benefits of doing so. So when I started in this position, August of 2020, we were in the middle of the pandemic. Lots of students moved online. And so one of the first things we did was release a student survey to ask about students' experiences in their online classes. And to our surprise, we got about 1,200 student responses, which is just unheard of. But at the time, students were just willing to share their opinions about anything. And so we asked some general questions, but then at the end, we asked some open-ended questions about, tell us about your experience, what you liked, what you didn't like, what went well, those kinds of questions. Well, we had almost 200 responses that specifically mentioned how confusing Blackboard was, about they would be in one class and things would be in one place. They would go to another class, things would be different. They were getting lost. They didn't know where to find things. Things were falling through the cracks. So lots and lots and lots of comments about how students just found Blackboard confusing. So to deal with that, we had two choices. The one choice was to try to redesign courses and come up with best practices and all these things to reorganize courses in Blackboard Original. So while we're having conversations about this, we start being invited to some webinars from Blackboard of where they're releasing or reintroducing Blackboard Ultra, which is the new version of Blackboard. And the more and more we listen, the more we realize that a lot of more development and time and features were coming out for this new version of Blackboard over Blackboard Original. So, and talking with the online advisory committee, the IT coaches, several different faculty groups, we all decided that instead of trying to spend all of our time and effort in Blackboard Original fixing these issues that students had come up with, that we could easily do that as we're moving to the new version of Blackboard and just kind of, be able to accomplish two tasks at one time, because we kind of saw the writing on the wall that Blackboard Original is going to be around, but it's going to be phased out very slowly, and all of the new developments are coming out for Ultra. Our Blackboard rep has told us that almost 3 times the number of people are working on development for Blackboard Ultra than they are in Original right now. So if that tells you anything, that most of their money and research is going into this new version. So that's when we started the transition. There were some features at the beginning that we knew were deal breakers for us. So we put it off for a little while and waited for some more roadmap conversations. And then eventually we got to the point of where we knew that Blackboard Ultra would be compatible to what we had, and in some ways even better by the time we were able to move to there. So in the fall of last year, we started working with about 40 courses. We worked with some instructional designers and we moved those courses over into the Blackboard Ultra format. About 30 of those courses ran in Blackboard Ultra in the spring, and we had some rousing success with these. We had over 300 sections ran, and we saw student success gains anywhere from 4% up to 30%, and one of our classes actually had a huge increase in student success over their historic average. So we saw some great successes with that. So, so the Blackboard Ultra course view, it is the new, modern, and more straightforward course experience. One of the great things about it is that it is mobile friendly and responsive. So no matter what size screen you're looking at it on, whether it be your iPhone or your iPad or your desktop computer, it will size to meet that. So this will make it available for you as a faculty and also as students to interact with Blackboard a little bit more easily on your mobile device. They've simplified some workflows. So if you notice in Blackboard or Ultra, all of the menu items on the left-hand side have kind of gone away, and they've been incorporated into a more simplified workflow through the interface. Improved navigation. We've also added some really cool student analysis tools. We'll talk about progress tracking and discussion analytics, where we can see how our students are doing, how much they're interacting with our classes, and just gives you some more data to be able to encourage students to interact in your classes just a good bit more. It is more student friendly. The student feedback that we've gotten so far has been extremely positive. Students like it. It's the messaging system is better and easier to use for them. It just makes more sense, and it's designed in a way that they're used to seeing the interface. It's just more clean, it's more organized, it's just easier to find things. We also know that a large number of schools, especially in our area, are also making the transition. We are kind of on the forefront of this, but several schools have definitely followed in our footsteps. Technical College of the Lowcountry, Tri-County, and also some of the USC schools are already in their transition, and they're watching how we do it and have asked for meetings to talk about our experience. And so we're right on the edge, but there are definitely some schools in our area that are right behind us. The other motivating factor for doing this so quickly is that, as we all know, the anthology transition is in full force and is up and running. And we wanted to get this part done and checked off and off of our list before that transition started, because that's going to be a whole new system for all of us to learn. So currently, we are working on the process of converting our existing courses. We have contracted with Blackboard to help us with that. That course conversion should be done by the end of the summer, which means that you will have access to your courses in Blackboard Ultra for the entire fall semester. So you can get in and learn and play with it and look at it and make any updates that you want to make before we run all of our courses all in Ultra by spring of 2023. So once we get those, we've got some more workshops. We've got some Blackboard ambassadors, Ultra ambassadors that are going to be coming on for the fall. We'll have one representative at least for every school. So you'll have a point of contact that will be responsible for training and proactive outreach. But then you also got the staff in the CISC office that'd be more than willing to help you with any workshops or training or questions that you might have. So we are very excited about it, and we are ready to get this up and running. And I think that, once we get past the initial transition and the change and all those things, I really think that this will be a better experience for all of us, for our faculty, for our students, our staff. I think that you guys will really enjoy this. Hopefully you will enjoy this by the time we're done with it. But I think that this will be a good move forward for us as a school.
Oh, thank you so much, Shannon. I know any change is daunting, and I know in my experience as a faculty member, I've only ever used Blackboard, but it has always been Blackboard Original. So change is always a little scary, and in the midst of everything else can be difficult, but I appreciate that you shared with us a little bit about kind of the journey that led to this shift, where things are headed, what the students are really looking for. And again, what we're here for are the students, and hearing that this is something that's making sense to them, that seems a little more intuitive, sounds like that's going to be a real advantage to how we service the students in our courses. And I'm getting more and more exposure to Ultra, and they're the one thing that I get really excited about is how user-friendly it is on mobile devices. Yeah. I think that was one of the biggest frustrations in teaching, was trying to, if all I had was my iPad or my phone, I couldn't do much by way of grading or anything else. And so I think this series, that's the reason we're doing this limited series as well, is for to really get people acclimated to some of the major features and help make that transition as smooth as possible. So thank you for sharing about that journey. I think that always helps put some context to things
Agreed.
when a big change comes.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, as Shannon said, if you would like to continue the conversation, if you have questions or concerns, you can reach out to Shannon. I've got Shannon's email on the screen here, shannon.creighton@gvltec.edu, or you can also email CISC at the department email. That's CISC@my.gvltec.edu, and any member of the CIS team will be happy to help you. They have been really great to work with. You're going to meet several of them, or I think almost all of them, in this first few episodes of this series. So you will get to put names and faces together, but know that they are here to help you with this transition and to try to make it as smooth as possible as we move forward. Well, that's our teaching tidbit for this episode of Blackboard Ultra, and we'll see you next time.